Functions in Java. So a function or a method has a group of statements to be executed. So why do we use functions? Functions we use for the modularity purpose, and also we use to execute certain statements repeatedly. So you can see, to create a function, we need to use a scope modifier, a return type, and the function name. You can see one example here. Public static int calculate is the function name. So when you declare a function, this is called function declaration. Function declaration should have open and close braces. And once you write some set of statements inside a function, you need to execute that. And how do we execute that function? You need to call that function by semicolon. And there are two types of functions: predefined function and user-defined function. So predefined functions are already given by JDK. You can simply call them by passing the arguments. User-defined function, we need to create our own function and use it wherever it is required. Let's see one example. So here I have a functions project. Inside functions project, I have src and functions package. And inside this functions package, I'll simply right click and click on new and create a class. I'll say function example1 and choose the main function. Now here is our main function, and what I'll do, let's see how to call our predefined functions. So let's say I have a number, integer 25, or integer number is equal to 25. So I want to find the square root of this number. And how to find the square root? We have already some functions available inside a math class. So I'll say double square root of a number is equal to, or you can give anything, result is equal to math is the class, math.sqrt is the square root. Okay, now I'm sending the number 25. So from math class, I'm calling the square root function, and it will send us some result, and that result I can print it. I'll say square root of a number, square root result is equal to plus result. Okay, so now let's execute this program. Okay, we are getting 5. And where is this square root available? It is available in math class, but where is this math class? Let's see. So here inside our JRE, expand this, and you can see Java base. Inside Java base, we have lot of packages. One of the package is lang. So inside lang, there should be a class called math. So inside this math class, there are a lot of functions. You can see abs, okay, seal, copy, cos, sign, etc, etc. And here you will see sqrt. So what it is saying, and you can see there is something called as S stands for static. So this function I can call directly. So let me create my own function. Okay, I'll say void, I'll say print square. If I send 5 as the number, I should get 25 as the output. So I'll say I can find double x, or you can take any number. Here this is called function declaration. I'm creating my own function declaration. Now what I'm doing, I can get the square root. Whenever someone calls this function, I will accept that number, and that number I will return by doing square, x into x. Whatever I get the value, I can return it. So why I am getting return? You are saying void. Void means you cannot return anything, so you should say double. Now let's go here and I'll say integer, or you can say double number 2 is equal to 5. This number 2 I want to get the double result 1 is equal to. Now this is available inside print square, right? Sorry, this function is available inside function. So to call that, you need to create an object. Function example1 object1 is equal to new function example1. So now we have the object for this class, function class. With this, I can call the print square and give the number 2. And you can see on the right side, on the inside function class, I have the main function and print square. So now, but print square is not static. Okay, so let's see what happens. So we are getting the result. I want to print that result. Result 1 square, not square root, square result. Let's see, right click, run Java. So square root of 25 is 5, square of a number is 25. But let's understand why we are calling the square root directly from the math class, because when a function is static, you can call with the help of class name. But if a function is non-static, you need to create an object and then execute it. So what I'll do now, I'll create my function to be static. So if it is static, what I'll do, I no need to create my object. I can simply call with the help of class name, function example1 dot print square. On the right side, you can see the functions inside function example1 both are static. So save this and execute. We are getting the output. So this is how we can create our own function and call it wherever it is required. Now let's see what are function prototype, like scope modifier or scope specifier. Then we have modifier like static, final, synchronize, return type, and then we have the function name. Whenever you are using a function, these 5 things we will be using. Okay, now let's understand function prototype. So function prototypes are something which will be giving some additional logic to our functions. So scope specifier, which we talk about public, private, protected, and default. And there is also called modifier, which is final, static. We have seen one example. If you create static, what happens? And if you don't write static, you need to create an object and execute it. And we will see some examples between the return type and the arguments. And function name is, if you want to call that function, you need to give some function name. And there are variations as well, which is with argument and no argument types. So you can create our functions with different variations, like no argument, no return type, no argument with return type, likewise. Okay, there are 4 variations. We will see each example now. So close this and go back to our class, which is functions. Right click, class. I'll say function example2. Okay, so in this example2, what I'll say, I'll create a function called function with no arguments and no return type. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's see. So if you're saying function void function name, you can give calculate. Okay, this is a function declaration. And whenever you use two words in a function name, it is always better you use underscore, or the second word you can start with capital case. I'll say calculate data, something like this. So the first word, if you are using it, keep it as smaller case, and from second word first letter keep it as a capital case. All right, now I'll say I have integer a equals to 10 and integer b equals to 20. I want to do some calculations like addition. I'll say integer addition is equal to a plus b, and then system dot out dot println inside calculate function, and I'm printing the value. I'll say inside calculation function print add. Okay, so you have the function and you're not returning anything, and that's why we call it as no return type. Whenever there is void, that means it is no return type. And we will see arguments shortly, but right now understand with no return type, no arguments. That means whenever there is no value, whenever there is no data type specified inside this function, that means it is called no arguments. And now inside this, let me create an object. Why do we need to create an object for this? Because this is not a static function, or let's use it as a static. Okay, so this static function I can call directly with the object. So I'll say function2 dot calculate data. Very simple, right? So line number 6, it is saying from this class just call the calculate data, and it calls this function and prints it. Let's see, right click, run Java application. Inside calculation function, answer is 30. You can also debug this. Okay, right click and you can click on toggle breakpoint. So, and right click, run as, debug as Java application. Okay, switch. So the function execution is currently on line number 6. So go to the next step. So from line number 6, it is calling calculate data. So it is reading the line, it is executing the line 11, 12, and once the execution is completed, it is coming back to our main function. It comes back to the main function. So this is how we can execute our functions. Now the same example I can use with different thing, which is with return type. I'll say with return type. So right click on functions, click on new, click on class. I'll say function example 3. So what we'll do, we'll use the same thing, integer, let's copy this function to save the time. So I have the static, but what I'll do, instead of printing here, I'll say return addition. I'm returning something. So what is that something? It is a number. So I'll say you are returning integer. You are returning integer. So when you are returning something, let me write here no argument with return type. With return type. So I need to call this function function3 dot calculate data. Okay. But when it is calling here, I will say integer total is equals to like this. So function execution 3 class is containing calculate data. It is called, we are calling that function, and it is returning some data that is available in total, and then I'll print this system.out.println total. Okay, let's say inside main function. Right click, run as Java application. We are getting inside main 30. So what is happening? Function execution class is calling calculate data. It is doing some operation, it is executing some data, and it is returning the value. So when it is returning something, whenever you use a keyword called return inside a function, you need to make sure what data you are passing. If you are sending double, you need to use double as the return type. And once the output is available in total, I can print it. So that is no argument with return type. So let's see another example on with argument no return type. I'll say function example 4. Okay, so here what we'll do, I'll copy the same function, which will be with arguments and no return type. So these two numbers I will create inside main function, and then I can call function dot calculate data, and here I'll send this a comma b. So these are called arguments. When you send a value inside the function, those are called arguments. So this calculate data function should receive that value. You need to say integer, you can use a or you can create anything, okay, integer y. So now I'll say integer total equals to x plus y. Now you can print the total. Total plus total. This is the string total inside calc. Okay. Let me run this program. Yes, we are getting the output, and let's also see what is happening here. Okay, toggle breakpoint, right click, debug. Yes. Okay, let me rerun the program. Okay, so let me debug this. Right click, debug Java application. So right now it is in line 7. Let's click on function inside. So we are on line number 8. So you can see on the right side it says a is 10, b is 20, and click on next, step into. So what is happening here, when you call this function, you are sending a comma b values to the calculate data. So now inside x we got 10 and y you got 20. So that x and y you are storing in total, and then total will be 30, and then you are printing the statement. So this is how you are able to call the function with argument and no return type. And finally, let's create another function with argument and with return type. I'll say function example 5. It's very simple now. We know what is argument and what is return type. I'll just copy this function, and here instead of void it will be int, and I need to create some values here. Integer b equals to 20 and integer total equals to function example 5 dot calculate. You are sending a and b. So instead of printing this, I need to print it here. I need to return total, which is x plus y. Okay, let's understand this. A and b are available inside main function, and you are calling this calculate data function by sending a and b as the arguments. So calculate data will receive those arguments and it is returning by doing addition. So return 10 plus 20, that is 30. That is sent to this line. So now total is 30, total inside main. So right click, run as Java application. So total inside main, we are getting the output. So this is with argument and with return type. Now let's see what is function overloading. It is common interview question. What is function overloading? So when we use the same name but with different signatures, so which means you can have the function name as same but the signature should be different. Let's see that. So here inside this, I'll create a function called function example 6. I can create something like void discount. So discount is a function. It says, I'll just print one line here, system.out.println. I'll say discount with no arguments, discount with no arguments. And this is not a static function, so you need to create the object for that, which will be object1 is equal to new function. Now I'll say object1 dot discount. Right click, or you can just click on run. It prints discount with no arguments. This is a regular one, but now I'll copy the same function. If you use here, it says error, right? Because there are two functions with the same name. However, if you change the signature like integer a, the error is gone because this function is no arguments. Okay, this function is no arguments, and this function is accepting integer type. So this is with integer argument, with integer argument. So I can say integer with this function discount with int arguments. So save this. I'll say object1 dot, I'll say 10. You can say object with integer arguments. You are sending that a number to this function, and I'll print that number. System dot out dot println argument is a. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, somewhere I did not use ln. Okay, so now we can see it prints both. And also someone will say, I want to use again one argument, right? With character argument. You can have the same function again with character argument, which means a function with the same name will accept character type, which will accept character. So here I'll say the same object can call discount but this time I'll say letter. So this function can accept that. So I'll just copy these two lines and add it here. Discount with character argument. And what is that argument? ch. Right click, run as Java application. And sometimes you can create with, again, it should not match. If you are creating a function overloading, it can have function name can be same with different arguments and different argument types. So I have single argument, but the data types are different. Again, I can use a final thing like with number and double. So I'll say void discount. I'll say integer x comma double y. So here I'll say discount with two arguments, which are x plus, I can say one more, and y. So I need to call this function here, which will be 100 comma 45.5 something. Right click, run Java application. So with no arguments, discount again with two arguments, which are 100 and 45. So this is how we can create function overloading.